Hi there, Jean Greer here at Stylish Fireplaces with your quick tip on electric fireplace terminology. So we're going to start with linear fireplaces. So what is a linear fireplace? What do we mean when we say that? And this doesn't just apply to electric. You'll hear that term with gas fireplaces as well. Linear refers to the long, slim fireplaces that you're seeing more and more in our showrooms. So the fireplaces behind me are all linear fireplaces. So these fireplaces would be anywhere from about 16 to 23 inches tall and then very long in the walls. So they might range from the very shortest ones around 34, 36 inches up to 100 inches long and sometimes even longer. So the height stays the same as the width gets longer here along the wall, and that gives it a very slim linear look. So that's what we mean by linear. Within that category, we have surface mount, flush mount, and then semi-flush mount. So what does that mean? Because we hear people using those terms interchangeably when they come into our showroom and maybe understanding them differently than we do. So it's really important to know what we're talking about as we discuss the fireplaces. So let's start with surface mount. Surface mount are like these units here, where I'm mounting on the surface of the wall. Nothing is buried in the wall, and therefore, if I'm standing at the side of this fireplace, I am seeing the side of the fireplace. These particular ones are designed with accent lighting behind the glass or behind the faceplate, so that it creates a light effect on the wall. So that's a nice feature to have if you're going to have to surface mount a fireplace. These can also be flush mounted or semi-flush mounted, but they're designed to also be surface mounted. And many of our linear fireplaces cannot be surface mounted. They are meant to be in the wall, they are meant to be flush, and they cannot go on the surface like this. But this is something you would do, for instance, in a condo or in any wall where you do not want to do any structural work, you don't want to add a bump for the fireplace, you don't want to cut into the existing wall, or you cannot cut into the existing wall, and you want a fireplace. You're going to see the cords where you plug them in, unless you do some sort of a direct wire connection and you make a connection very close to the back of the fireplace. So that is what a surface mount fireplace looks like. On this side, I've got my flush mount fireplaces. So although there is a little bit of a projection on the frames of these fireplaces, it is still considered a flush mount because the fireplace is buried in the wall up to the faceplate. That's considered a flush mount fireplace. Occasionally, you'll have a need to put a fireplace partially in the wall, and some of these can do that. So the manufacturers have allowed for part of the fireplace to be in the wall, part of it to stick out of the wall. Let's say you have a 6-inch fireplace and you want to put it into a 4-inch deep wall. That would be a semi-flush installation. There would be some sort of a trimming around the outer edge to cover up the bit that sticks out of the wall, and that's a semi-flush. So the fact that there's a little bit of a frame on the fireplace that touches the wall does not make it semi-flush. It is semi-flush if part of the back end of the fireplace cannot fit into the wall, and then you would need to make some sort of arrangement to cover that up. So that's flush mount is what you see on this side, surface mount is what you see on this side, and semi-flush is in between the two. Part of the fireplace is in the wall, part of it is out of the wall, and you need to somehow camouflage the part of the firebox that may not be in the wall. So that's your quick tip from stylishfireplaces.ca on some of the terminology around linear fireplaces.